For every swing, every moment, the Milwaukee Brewers fight. It's not just about hitting the ball, it's about leaving a legacy.
Look at this rotation on paper right now and tell me if you have the guts to sleep soundly, thinking the job is done, because I certainly don't. You look at the current roster and see Brandon Woodruff back with the qualifying offer, Freddie Peralta still holding down the fort for now, and a bunch of talented kids like Jacob Misiorowski and Quinn Priester knocking on the door, but blindly trusting that this guarantees the NL Central title in 2026 is a dangerous game I don't want to play. The reality is, if you want to understand the real backstage moves and the analysis that mainstream TV ignores about what happens in the corridors of American Family Field, you need to subscribe to the channel right now, because here we don't sugarcoat things for the front office, nor do we delude ourselves with overly optimistic projections. The buzz this time, brought by Joel Reuter from Bleacher Report, sheds light on a name that most casual fans would ignore, but who has the look, the smell, and the DNA of those sneaky signings our front office loves to make: Zack Litell. We're talking about an 8-year league veteran, a guy who has bounced around the Twins, Giants, Red Sox, Rays, and Reds, and it's exactly this journeyman profile that usually turns into gold in the hands of our pitching coaches. What catches my eye about Litell isn't a sparkling ERA that will make you fall out of your chair, but that annoying consistency, that bureaucratic regularity we desperately need in the middle of the rotation so we don't blow up the bullpen before August. The guy delivered a 3.81 ERA in 2025, splitting time between Tampa and Cincinnati, and in 2024, he nailed a 3.63 in 29 starts for the Rays. If there's one thing we've learned rooting for the Brewers, it's that glamour is expensive and often breaks, while these blue-collar ball players with a career ERA of 3.88 are the ones carrying the piano during the tough weeks of July. He's 30, his arm is tested, and the market is strangely quiet on him, which is music to Matt Arnold's ears. We know our philosophy isn't to go out handing out $300 million contracts. It's finding value where others see just a roster filler. Litell fits like a glove in this mentality of grabbing an undervalued guy and turning him into a key 150-inning piece. Reuter put him on the same shelf as Nick Martinez and Jacob Junis, but I see Litell with a higher stability ceiling, especially considering how he handled the transition from reliever to starter in recent years, something our pitching lab knows how to exploit very well. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room that makes this conversation about Zack Litell not just a wish, but an absolute necessity. The rumors about the Freddie Peralta trade won't stop circling, and where there's smoke, there's usually a fire about to start in the front office suites. If Peralta is dealt to restock the system or cut costs, our rotation goes from solid to a high-stakes gamble in a matter of seconds. We'd be depending on a Woodruff coming back from injury, and I love Woody, but his health is a giant question mark on the raw but unstable potential of Misiorowski, and on young guys like Chad Patrick or Tobias Myers. That is a lot of responsibility on the backs of kids who are still learning to handle the pressure of the big leagues. Bringing in a veteran like Litell stops being a luxury and becomes a mandatory insurance policy. If Freddie leaves, you need someone who takes the mound every 5 days and gives you 6 competitive innings without imploding, and the young guys, as talented as they are, fluctuate too much to offer that guarantee right off the bat. The financial aspect is where things get interesting, and where I think the front office will try to be smart or cheap, depending on your point of view. Spotrac is projecting Littell's market value at something around $38 million for 3 years. I'll be blunt, at that price, the Brewers aren't signing him. Forget it. But we know how the market works. The deeper we get into winter and his agent's phone doesn't ring with that fat offer, the price drops. That's where Milwaukee operates in the market's bargain bin, waiting for the value to drop to a 2-year deal with incentives or something in that more palatable range. He's still available, flying under the radar, and that plays into our cost containment strategy. The big question is whether we can afford to wait that long. The Central Division is accessible, but it's not dead, and going into 2026 with holes in the rotation, thinking the offense will solve everything or that the bullpen will work miracles again is asking to suffer. Littell isn't the savior of the franchise. He isn't the ace who's going to win the Cy Young, but he is the cement that keeps the wall standing. Without guys like him, the structure crumbles at the first string of injuries, and we know injuries will happen. So either the front office opens the wallet now to guarantee this stability, or we're going to be praying for rookies to perform like veterans, a strategy that has cost us dearly in the past. Would you trust the entire season on a rookie's arm, or do you prefer the boring safety of a 30-year-old veteran?